Do our lives unfold according to cosmic order, personal freedom, or indifferent chaos? Are we bound by destiny, moved by karma, or tossed in the current of chance? At the crossroads of this ancient inquiry stand two philosophical titans, Stoicism and Existentialism. One rooted in acceptance of order, the other in defiance of absurdity. The Stoics taught that the universe is rational, that fate is law, and that freedom lies in aligning our will with this cosmic logos. To them, suffering arises not from what happens, but from resisting what must happen. The wise person, therefore, does not fight fate, they consent to it. Existentialists, by contrast, look out upon a world that offers no such order. For Sartre, Camus, and Kierkegaard, life is absurd, not because it is chaotic, but because it lacks inherent meaning. There is no blueprint, no divine script, only freedom and the unbearable responsibility it brings. In a silent universe, the only meaning is the one we create. These two philosophies do not simply disagree, they reflect two radically different modes of being, one that bows to the cosmos with dignity, and one that rebels against the void with courage. So, who is really driving your life? Is it karma, fate, or chaos? And is freedom found in surrender or in resistance, fated or free? The great divide between logos and absurdity, at the heart of Stoicism and Existentialism, lies a single, irreconcilable question. Is the universe meaningful or indifferent? The Stoics saw in the cosmos an order, a structure, a logos, a rational principle guiding all things. To them, we are not accidents in a void, but fragments of a coherent, if impersonal, divine plan. The wise life, then, is lived in harmony with that order, understanding it, accepting it, and aligning our will with it. Existentialism, by contrast, begins with the collapse of that cosmic order. In the absence of God, eternal truths, or teleological purpose, thinkers like Sartre, Camus, and Kierkegaard stand at the edge of an abyss. They do not find order, they find absurdity. We are thrown into a world that precedes us, one that offers no instructions, no guarantees, and no cosmic script. And yet, we are radically free, burdened with the task of choosing, creating, becoming. Where the Stoics counsel surrender to fate, existentialists demand revolt against the void. Where the Stoic says amor fati, love your fate, the existentialist asks, what now? Each philosophy sees the same condition, suffering, mortality, uncertainty, but reads a different message in the stars. Are we part of a rational unfolding, or are we alone in an indifferent universe? This divide is not merely theoretical, it shapes how we live. Do we trust the current or swim upstream? Do we seek peace and acceptance, or meaning and rebellion? Both traditions are honest. Both confront the human condition without illusion. But where Stoicism finds clarity in submission to reason, Existentialism finds courage in the act of self-definition. And between them lies the question that haunts us still. Is there a path through this life, or must we carve one? The Stoics' world. Ordered, rational, and indifferent. The Stoics did not believe in chaos. To them, the universe was a web of cause and effect, governed by reason, the logos. Everything that happens does so according to this rational structure, even if we do not see or understand it. Fate in Stoic philosophy is not doom, it is order, and wisdom consists in learning to live in accord with that order. What this means, paradoxically, is that Stoicism accepts the indifference of nature. The cosmos is not a caring parent. It is neither cruel nor kind. The Stoics reject the fantasy that the universe owes us fairness, earthquakes, loss, injustice. These are not cosmic errors. They are part of the fabric. To rage against them is to rage against reality itself. Instead, Stoicism teaches alignment. Epictetus tells us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. Our judgments, desires, and actions, these are ours. Everything else, weather, fate, the behavior of others, must be accepted, not because we like them, but because they are real. From this emerges the Stoic ideal, equanimity, not detachment, but inner peace rooted in reason. If the universe is a rational structure, and if we too possess reason, then harmony is possible, not by changing fate, but by changing how we relate to it. The Stoics' God is not personal, it is nature itself, unfolding according to law. To live well is to know one's role in the play and act it with dignity, even if the script was not of our choosing. Stoicism offers calm in the storm, not because the storm ceases, but because we no longer demand that it should. It is not a denial of pain, it is its rational transcendence. Order is not always gentle, but to the Stoic, it is sacred. Existence without blueprint, the existentialist's dilemma. Where the Stoic finds peace in cosmic order, the existentialist finds only silence. For Sartre, Camus, and their peers, the universe does not speak. There is no logos, no guiding plan, no divine architect. We are not placed into meaningful roles. We are thrown into a world that is utterly indifferent, and in this absence of design, we are condemned to freedom. To be free, in the existentialist sense, is not liberation. It is burden. It means there is no script to follow, no morality handed down from the stars. We must choose who we are and take full responsibility for that choice. We are, as Sartre wrote, condemned to be free, with no excuses, no divine fallback, and no guarantees. This creates the existentialist's dilemma, the human need for meaning in a universe that offers none. Camus called this the absurd, the collision between our hunger for purpose and the blankness of existence. In the face of this, we have two options: deny the absurd or confront it. The existentialists choose confrontation. They do not retreat into systems, they lean into freedom. They reject fate, karma, and divine order as illusions. Instead, they ask, what will you make of your life, knowing that no one is coming to save you? To live authentically, then, is not to follow a path, but to forge one. It means taking ownership of your beliefs, your actions, your failures. It means creating values, not inheriting them. It means standing alone and becoming someone anyway. The existentialist does not mourn the death of meaning. They see it as a challenge. Without blueprint, without fate, we are free to become. And though the universe does not care, we still can. Existence is not given meaning. It is offered the chance to create it. Karma, destiny, or luck, ancient and modern models of causality. Before philosophy became abstract, it was practical. How do things happen? Why do we suffer? Who or what is pulling the strings? Stoicism answers with fate, a rational chain of causes rooted in logos. Everything that occurs was always going to occur and happens for a reason, even if we can't see it. This is not mysticism, but metaphysical physics, a belief in order, law, and design. The Stoic does not ask, why me, but how do I respond? Eastern philosophy offers karma, a moral logic to existence. Here, causality includes not just physical events, but ethical echoes. Our actions plant seeds that blossom in time. Life is not arbitrary. It reflects our past choices, even across lifetimes. Karma gives suffering meaning. It suggests the universe remembers, even when we forget. In contrast, existentialism posits neither fate nor karma, but chaos. Things happen because they happen. The cosmos is not hostile, it is indifferent. Randomness is not a glitch in the system, it is the system. There is no higher tribunal, no cosmic accountant. A child dies, a tyrant thrives, and no order explains it. Modern science leans toward this existential realism. Evolution, quantum mechanics, and probability theories imply a world of chance and contingency, not design. In this view, luck may be the truest god of all. So, what drives your life? Destiny, justice, randomness? Each model offers comfort and each carries weight. But the deeper question is this: does your worldview empower you to act? Stoicism teaches endurance. Karma offers moral consequence. Existentialism demands creativity. Your story may be written by fate, shaped by karma, or scattered by chance, but meaning in every case is yours to define. Freedom in chains. Stoicism's paradox of inner liberty. To the Stoic, true freedom is not the absence of constraint, It is the mastery of one's will within constraint. The body may be chained, the fortune reversed, the world chaotic, but if one's inner life is ruled by reason and guided by virtue, one remains. This is Stoicism's great paradox. You are most free when you accept what you cannot change. External events, other people, even your own fate. These lie outside your power. But your judgment, your choices, your character, these are yours, and only yours. Epictetus, born a slave, became a philosopher of radical autonomy. He taught that even in captivity one could be sovereign, so long as one ruled oneself. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor, echoed this view. Despite ruling the known world, he saw inner discipline as life's true dominion. Modern minds often equate freedom with options. The Stoic redefines it as integrity. You are free not when you can do anything, but when you can endure anything without losing yourself. This freedom is not resignation, it is resilience. It does not mean passivity, it means clarity. To accept what happens is not to approve of it, it is to refuse to be broken by it. To say yes to fate is not to like it, but to meet it with strength. The Stoic liberty is inward, not outward. It cannot be revoked, taxed, or conquered. It is the disciplined soul's defiance of external control. In a world obsessed with control, the Stoic teaches release, and in doing so he discovers a freedom more enduring than circumstance, because no one can enslave the mind that has chosen its own response. The weight of freedom, existentialism's call to responsibility. To the existentialist, freedom is not a gift, it is a task. Sartre famously declared that we are condemned to be free, not because freedom is cruel, but because it comes without instruction. There is no divine blueprint, no universal moral law, no cosmic plan to consult. We are radically autonomous and wholly accountable for what we make of ourselves. This freedom is not a license to do anything, but a call to become someone. Each choice affirms a value, each action shapes the self, and with that freedom comes a haunting responsibility. There are no excuses, not God, not fate, not society. Even in bad faith, when we deceive ourselves, we remain the authors of our own existence. This burden is heavy. For Kierkegaard, it brings dread. For Camus, it evokes the absurd. For Sartre, it demands authenticity. But in every case, it is through this burden that we become truly human. Responsibility is not a punishment, it is the price of freedom. Compare this to Stoicism, where freedom is inner mastery within external necessity. For the Stoic, we are free when we align with reason. For the existentialist, we are free when we choose, without appeal to any authority but ourselves. This is both terrifying and exhilarating. In a world stripped of guarantees, we are alone, but free. In that solitude, we find possibility, the possibility to create, to act, to become. Existentialism dares us to carry the weight of freedom and calls it courage. To live without pre-written meaning is not despair, it is the beginning of responsibility. Emotions, reactions, and the will, who is really in control? Both Stoicism and Existentialism are philosophies of power, but they differ sharply in what they seek to master. For the Stoic, the target is the passions, those emotional disturbances that cloud reason and lead us away from virtue. For the existentialist, the concern is not passion itself, but authenticity. Are your emotions truly yours, or inherited responses shaped by bad faith? The Stoic approach is disciplined detachment. Emotions are seen as judgments, distorted thoughts about the world. Anger, fear, grief, these are not merely feelings, they are misunderstandings. The sage trains their mind to respond with clarity, not impulse. The goal is not numbness, but serenity. A tranquility achieved through rational self-command. Existentialists, on the other hand, embrace emotion as part of existence. Angst, nausea, dread, these are not errors, but insights. They reveal the weight of freedom, the absurdity of life, the necessity of choice. But here, too, there is a demand, not to suppress emotion, but to own it. You must choose your reaction, if you are angry, love, or despair, not because culture or cowardice dictated it. Both philosophies prize the will. But the Stoic sees it as the faculty to resist, while the existentialist sees it as the power to create. One strives for equanimity through control, the other for authenticity through decision. Who is in control? The one who does not flinch from fate, or the one who dares to make it? Both paths demand inner strength. One of acceptance, one of authorship, and in both the question remains, is your life happening to you, or are you shaping it? Sisyphus or Socrates? Models of the meaningful life. In the ancient world, Socrates stood for reason, virtue, and the examined life. In the modern imagination, Sisyphus eternally pushing his boulder uphill stands for absurd perseverance. Between these two figures lies the split between Stoicism and Existentialism. Socrates, though not a Stoic, was their spiritual ancestor. He lived with integrity, trusted reason, and accepted death. He believed in a cosmos governed by order, where living according to nature meant pursuing wisdom and virtue. He was at peace with fate, yet fully engaged in life. The Stoic sage is modeled in his image, rational, self-mastered. Sisyphus, as imagined by Camus, defies reason. His fate is meaningless, his labor is futile, and yet he does not despair. Camus writes, "The struggle itself is enough to fill a man's heart." One must imagine Sisyphus happy. This is not submission, but rebellion. The boulder is his curse, but pushing it becomes his choice. Both lives are noble, but differently so. Socrates trusts the order of the world. Sisyphus affirms himself in spite of the world. The question they pose is profound. Is meaning something we discover or something we create? Is the good life lived in harmony with truth or forged in defiance of its absence? Stoicism finds freedom in discipline. Existentialism finds it in defiance, but both demand courage to live consciously, to endure suffering, to meet life with strength. You may follow Socrates' calm inquiry or Sisyphus's defiant will, but either way, you choose. Meaning, like the boulder, must be pushed, not found, but affirmed. Tragedy, joy, and the human condition, human life is marked by suffering. Loss, failure, grief, fear, these are not aberrations. They are the norm. Both Stoicism and Existentialism face this fact head-on, but they offer different responses to the tragedy of existence. The Stoics begin with acceptance. They teach that suffering arises not from events, but from our judgments about them. Death is natural. Pain is momentary. What we fear is not what happens, but how we think about it. Therefore, the path to joy lies in clarity. The Stoic trains the mind to see things as they are, not as we wish them to be. Tranquility comes through detachment, not from life, but from illusion. Existentialism refuses such comfort. It acknowledges suffering as part of existence, but does not soften it. For Camus, the absurd lies precisely in the mismatch between our craving for meaning and the world's indifference. But he does not recommend despair. He calls for revolt, a joyous defiance. There is no sun without shadow, he writes, and it is essential to know the night. Where the Stoic seeks to master suffering, the existentialist seeks to transform it into expression. For Nietzsche, even tragedy can be beautiful. For Sartre, meaning arises not in relief from pain, but in the resolve to choose in spite of it. Joy, then, is not the absence of tragedy, but a stance toward it. Stoicism offers serenity. Existentialism offers affirmation. Both ask us not to flee pain, but to face it. And both, in their own ways, promise that a life deeply examined, even in suffering, is still a life worth living. Living well in a universe that may not care if the universe is indifferent. What then? Do we spiral into nihilism? Or does this very absence of care free us to create a new kind of meaning? For the Stoic, the indifference of nature is not cruelty, it is clarity. The universe does not hate you, it simply is. And in that isness lies a kind of peace. Align your will with nature and you find tranquility. Not because life is easy, but because you have stopped resisting what you cannot change. For the existentialist, this same indifference is a call to courage. The universe does not give you meaning, but this absence is not despair. It is opportunity. In the void of cosmic silence, the self becomes the author of its own values. Meaning is not discovered, it is made. Life becomes an act of creation. So what does it mean to live well? For the Stoic, it means living virtuously, reasonably, with integrity, in accordance with what is. For the Existentialist, it means living authentically, choosing your path, bearing its weight, and refusing to flinch. Both reject illusion. Both call for discipline, but they part ways on the source of meaning. The Stoic trusts in the order of things, the Existentialist trusts in the will to shape them. In the end, the universe may not care, but we can. To live well is to meet existence, not with delusion, but with clarity. To suffer honestly, to act deliberately, to love deeply, even without guarantees. The stars may be silent, but how we live beneath them is our answer.